in the mix, it's absolutely fine. It's completely passable. I'm not saying it sounds identical to the U87, but I would have no problem with receiving that or having that as a kind of a vocal sound. Hey folks, thanks for checking the video out. I want to show you today basically the greatest thing that has ever turned up on my doorstep. It is the cheapest microphone I could find on Amazon that was like a studio microphone. So this was $8 something, which is about £6, which is unbelievably cheap. I don't know how they can even manufacture it or make the chassis at that price, but that's how much it was, plus shipping, and it's just phenomenal. It's the sheer disregard for anything is just phenomenal in the design, which we'll see in a moment, and the blurb on the front. So here it is. It's beautiful. It comes in a box for a start. And I'm just going to read you what it says about the microphone, because I think a little bit of something has got lost in translation here. So, using the patented coated vibrator head, special sound structure design, streamlined design as well, beautiful and generous shape. It sounds like a dating profile. What's your shape like? Generous. And it has the characteristics of, this is the best bit, high sensitivity, good for a mic, high noise, and low dynamic range. So it's highly sensitive, but it's very noisy and it's going to distort really easily. Can't wait to use this. Excellent lines to effectively reduce noise, the noise that it's got in the first place. It can reduce it though, so that's all right. The body adopts zinc alloy material, okay, and elastic heat treatment technology, don't know what that means, to design the mesh head, making the structure more solid. Solidity is good. The surface is treated with baking paint. Don't know what that means. But it's just a treat from start to finish, to be perfectly honest. You get all in a lovely box and a shock mount that is kind of the square shape of it. And we're going to take a listen in a moment, but just have a look at this. Does it remind you of anything? It's very, very similar to another microphone, another well-respected microphone. So much so that it could be said to be a blatant rip-off, and copyright matters are about to ensue. But either way, we will see. I'm going to plug it in, see what it sounds like. I'm not plugged it in yet. Let's find out. The cheapest studio microphone Amazon has to offer. So I've recorded a couple of tracks here. I've done a vocal where I've compared the Amazon mic to another microphone. So it's very easy to say, right, let's compare this inexpensive microphone to another inexpensive microphone. They're probably going to sound the same. Inexpensive microphones are pretty run-of-the-mill. So I've gone the other direction. I've compared it with the most expensive microphone I have, U87, which is like $3,000. So it's like 200 times, not 200 times. It's loads of times more expensive than this. What I want to say though is that on the guitar that I've recorded, doesn't sound great. On the vocal that I've recorded, let's listen, because it's interesting. I want to play you the acoustic guitar version first, because this is the one where there's like the most difference. You can easily tell. I've recorded these two with a microphone fairly close to where it can be, as near as damn it, and there's a massive, massive difference. So you can see here that they're pretty close. Sorry about the shorts, it's a warm day. But the differences are pretty vast. So here's the Amazon mic on the top and then the U87 on the bottom. If I just do this, then we can flick between the two. The Amazon mic is unbelievably bright and the U87 is not. So let's go U87 first and we'll flick between. Okay, that's probably what you're expecting for a $6 Amazon mic. If we actually go into these though and get rid of the top end, because it's the top end that's really kind of fatiguing to the ear, isn't it? And just get rid of that top end. So we've just got an EQ on it and we've taken out all the high frequencies. Let's listen to the bottom end. So the U87 sounds a lot fuller. And in comparison, the Amazon mic sounds a lot more kind of hollow. We can probably do a little bit of EQ just to kind of rectify this and just give it a little bit of a low boost. Let's take a listen now. Okay, they're fuller. But even with that, if we then just take off the kind of top end boost, let's get rid of that on the top, and then let's get rid of it on the other microphone as well. Let's take a listen now, because it's that top end that is really fatiguing. Mental amounts of high end. Let's just take off some of that high end. Let's go to that channel and just take off some of that top end. It still sounds pretty nasally, pretty hollow. You'd have to do some pretty drastic work to get that anywhere even close to the U87, and it just doesn't sound like it. But on the vocal, it does a pretty good shot at it. So I'm going to play this track. Hopefully I've chosen a track that's kind of obscure enough that it's not going to get flagged. We're going to see though. This is a vocal. This is my vocal, and I wanted to see if this distortion that it kind of microphone says that it has is actually present, because it's a ridiculous thing for it to say. I'm pretty certain it's just lost in translation. Although it does say, and this is absolutely phenomenal. Where is it? It says that it needs illusion power, not phantom power. It says that it needs illusion power. So I've given it 48 volts of illusion power, and I've just let rip. Let's take a look at these two vocal takes then. So I've split the difference. I've gone a line on the U87, a line on the Amazon mic, and etc, etc. I'm just going to play you that, and I'm going to play you it with loads of processing on, and some EQ, some compression, and some delay and reverb. Just take a listen and make up your own mind for a moment. So U87 first. It makes my stomach turn, and it tears my flesh from bone. It turns our dreams to stone, and we all die. In the mix, it's absolutely fine. It's completely passable. I'm not saying it sounds identical to the U87, but I would have no problem with receiving that or having that as a kind of a vocal sound. So let's listen to them soloed, and this is again with all the processing on. We're going to listen to them dry in a second. Let's see how they sound on their own. It makes my stomach turn, and it tears my flesh from bone. Turns our dreams to stone, and we all die. So when it's soloed, you can hear that there's that thinness to the Amazon mic. It doesn't have the full bodiness that the U87 has, but in the mix, it kind of disappears a little bit, which is fascinating, really. Let's get rid of all this processing and just see exactly how they sound when there's no processing on whatsoever, completely dry. Let's go one to the other again, but let's switch it round so that we're not just listening to the same passage of the same mic again. Okay, so we're starting off with the Amazon mic this time. It makes my stomach turn, and it tears my flesh from bone. It turns our dreams to stone, and we all die. There's an inherent brightness in it, which I've had to counteract. Counteract, is that the right word? Yeah, I've had to counter for in the mix. So if I go to the U87, you'll see I've actually got an SSL EQ, and I've bumped up 3 dB on the top end, which I've not done on the Amazon mic. The compression is the same. It's literally just that, and I've taken out the bottom end on either of them to get rid of any bumps or whatever. That is entirely passable. I don't actually mind the sound of that mic at all. It's got this inherent brightness, and it's got this inherent kind of lack of thickness, you might want to say. It's not going to work on a track where the vocal is incredibly exposed. It's not the kind of crooner mic. It's not a mic where the lead vocal is encompassing the entire mix. But when the vocal is just kind of sat on top of the mix and in with this dense rock mix, it sounds absolutely fine. It's not actually as garbage as I thought it was going to be. There's a couple of things that we need to address with this microphone though. So for a start, it's got 0 dB, 10 dB and 20 dB selections on them, shall we say, and then linear -40, -300. So that's a low cut, so we can get rid of the bottom end, or we can just pad it down. They don't exist. There's nothing that actually comes on the microphone. That it's not a button. It doesn't actually press. There's nothing you can do there, so that's fantastic. The elephant in the room here is that it looks identical to some of the Lewitt microphones, and even the logo they've kind of just nicked, but it's a strange one because Lewitt are relatively new on the scene. They've been going several years, but relatively new on the scene. Why have they chosen a Lewitt microphone? Because it's not as if you choose, like, if you want to choose one that everyone's going to get for the looks, then get a U87 lookalike or an SM7B lookalike, but they've gone for the Lewitt. They've got good taste. Lewitt makes some great microphones, but that's really interesting to me. Maybe it's because they think Lewitt are not as big as Neumann or Shaw, so they're not going to sue him. Strange one. So overall, this microphone, it's amazing. I just love it. Even if it didn't work, I think I'd be happy to just put that as a display piece for $6. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. As an actual microphone, on acoustic guitar, it can go in the bin. I'm not bothered about that at all. On vocals, it's fine. If you're looking for a vocal microphone that you can just get like obnoxiously cheap, and you don't have a better microphone sitting around, you can just plug it into any interface and it will work. That is technically a microphone, and it will physically function as a microphone would do. With a bit of EQ, with a bit of compression, all that kind of stuff, it does sound entirely passable. And I'm actually astonished that it sounds, I don't want to use the word good, but that it sounds the way it does, because I thought it was just going to be like noisy and absolutely naff. I've reviewed microphones before that are like USB and inexpensive microphones. They're all noisy as hell, but this is just not noisy. There's just no noise to it. No kind of audible noise anyway. There probably is if you bring it all up, whatever. But I did notice when I was recording that in and out, sometimes you'd get a bit of a flickering sound, whether that's a cable, whether it's the microphone, couldn't tell you, but it was definitely there. So, the most inexpensive microphone that Amazon possibly has to offer, or at least the most inexpensive studio microphone that Amazon has to offer, is not actually garbage. It's not amazing. It's not good. It is good. It's all right. It's okay. It's passable. It's technically a microphone. If you're just looking for a load of microphones to get because you want to record different stuff, I would genuinely recommend that you pick a few of these up, because for $6, why the hell wouldn't you? That's like the cost of a Starbucks, I'm assuming. $6 is like £5. $8? No, it's $8. That's right, and that's like £6, which is an expensive Starbucks, the kind of Starbucks that my son likes with all the froth on the top and stuff. So I would recommend getting a few of those because they're hilarious. Put a couple up next to your monitors. They look cool and they sound absolutely fine. They are technically microphones. Hope you've enjoyed it. I'll see you again soon. Take care.